Hi, my name's Shemen. This is Sovereign Shemen. It's my channel for my goal of becoming more sovereign in my life. And a huge part of that is actually speaking my truth. And um, I am a truth seeker. I've spent a large part of my life just, it's what I'm passionate about. I just want to learn and explore. I I'm always diving into different little things. And today I want to talk about astrology and the stars and the gift that it is for us. The stars and knowing our stars, especially knowing our own stars, and then also knowing and understanding the stars of our loved ones can be so helpful. Um, I've been on a lifelong journey of what is my mission? Like, what am I here to do? And really trying to find that out. And so I've just always been attracted to astrology. So it started with the Zodiac and the Teen Bop magazine, or whatever, all those magazines. Where did that come from? I don't know. But I started my journey there, right? Just reading Pisces every month. And then eventually I learned, oh, there's more than just your sun sign. That's crazy. There's actually a ton of different things, because it's always of course, you're not going to be just this one thing in this one little box. So yeah, eventually learning more. Um, Learning that there's also the moon sign and the rising or ascendant sign, and both of mine are Libra. So then I'm like, oh, I have this whole other side of me. And I have always been a peacemaker and just someone that, a mediator. I bring people together. I'm always just in the middle of things, trying to navigate and help people emotionally, really. And then I learned my whole chart, and I have 4 signs in Pisces. I mean, I always did feel aligned with Pisces. So, anyways, I have the stellium of Pisces, and I have these Libras, and then it's oh, and there's this other placement. I have one fire sign, it's Sag, and it's in this part. And there's so much depth within it, and there's so many different modalities that you can study and do whichever one aligns to you. Um, Really, for me, learning like I said, it was a huge deal when I just learned about my moon and my ascendant, right? And then you continue on your journey and you keep learning more and more. The last couple few years, goodness, probably 3 years now. I've started 3 years ago. I started studying human design, and that was just huge for my growth. To help me understand how my own energy works and give myself permission to be myself more and more through that. And then also understanding more how my husband's energy works, and giving him permission to be himself more and more, and understanding my kids better, and how to ask them to do chores better. Each one, we all know each one of us comes differently, right? We all come with our own things and our own energy and our own personality. And so just knowing some of those basic things about each other is huge for the ways that we can relate with each other and understand each other and give each other permission to be our true authentic selves, because it's oh, well, that's how they do it. If we were all the same, it'd be boring. So human design was just huge for me in understanding more. And then I learned about Gene Keys, not Gene Keys. Um, but I was Thelma for Halloween a few years ago, so that's cool. But anyways, Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. I better double check that. Where's my book? Oh wait, that one was audio. Anyway, so when I found Gene Keys, it just spoke more to my soul. I have it's more so it came from human design, kind of like they're pretty related. And it's been explained that like human design is more masculine because it has more structure, it's more scientific, and gene keys are more feminine, it's more feeling. And it's like you learn about this part of it, and then the word that he uses. Okay, so Richard Rudd, like in his book, it's very poetic, which like I love, as the mystical Pisces human that I am. Um, so yeah, it just spoke to my soul, and it contemplation is the way that you go through the gene keys. So for me, like I just had the book and I'd listen, and then I just like feel it out for a while, and I had some huge epiphanies there with learning that. And um yeah, I just think that the world would be a different, better place if all of us understood ourselves and each other more, especially like our own kids. And like in schools, like I just quit my job as a high school English teacher, and part of it, like I just feel like frustrated that like there's these tools that I feel like could help, but like I can't really like talk about them or like use them. But if these kids were taught like more about who they are and how their energy works and how they work best, and what they're here to do, think of how much that would help them on their path. Like, how much would it help you on your path if you understand, like, oh, this is the best way for me to make a decision. This is the best way for me to use my energy. My energy goes in like these waves, or I have to like, for example, I'm an emotional. We've already established that, right? I have a lot of Pisces. I'm very emotional. That's a huge part of like my mission, is what I've learned. And like I feel like I just finally have that clarity and that guidance that I've been searching for. And so here I am, finally, like, yeah, I'm ready to share, guys. I'm ready to talk. I've spent anyways, think of how much that could help you if you had a better understanding of, yeah, just like how to make decisions. Like, okay, so my example, that's where I was at. My example is I'm emotional. So I make decisions on an emotional wave, which means like I have to feel it out for a while. Like I have to feel, what would this feel like if I made that decision? What would it feel like if I make this decision? What if I make this other decision? What would it feel like? What would it feel like? Until I'm like, oh, I'm more neutral. I've kind of ridden the emotional wave. I'm now more neutral, and I can go, this is the right decision. Like this is what feels right in my heart, in my gut, in my body. So that was a lot. Kind of went off for a minute there. Let me check my notes. Yeah. So I guess that brings me to. Okay, so I have been a truth seeker. Now I'm ready to be a truth teller and share my truths. Also, I'm Pisces. I'm pretty mystical, and I live in the depths. I had an astrologer tell me once that all of my signs are under the horizon line, which like I still like today before I recorded, I was like, I should like research that again and like just kind of, so I'll check in on that again soon anyways. Because, and what he said is like how it would affect me is that it can be hard for me to communicate with people that aren't so under the horizon, I guess. And the way I interpret it is like a poem that I actually wrote quite a while back about like being a mermaid and not being able to like stay on land. Like I had to go back to the depths. I had to go back to more of the mystical, imaginary, underwater, flowy realm. Like I couldn't stay above land and live in this so much structure. Um, so instead, what I do now is I research, I geek out on a lot of things, you know, extraterrestrials, um, all the spirituality, all of the clairs, all of the things, you guys, all of the things that are weird and mystical and a little woo woo out there, all of that. Anyway, so I geek out on that. I take it in and I just kind of like play in the possibilities. I just play in the depths and I play in the depths of the all of the possible realms of existence and reality, and um, yeah, I'm just ready to play with more people, with friends. I'm ready to have friends and stop hermiting so hard. A huge part of my growth this last 6 months to a year has been because of the hermiting sometimes, and that's part of like the flow and the cycles that we need to honor more of life. So, anyways, I encourage you to. There are many resources to look up, like your human design, whichever one is calling to you, gene keys or astrology, Vedic astrology. I mean, whichever one calls to you. Um, and yeah, join me and let's play and create in all the possible realities for building the new earth. Okay.